Prabhupada ki, Antara Shrimad-Bhagavatam ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Transcendental Distribution ki, Lord Himanande, oh glory Sri Samula Devotees, oh glory Sri Samula Devotees, oh glory Sri Samula Devotees, oh glory Sri Devotees of Sri Sri Lord. Namo Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Yamvarya Yatobaya Ikaritashati Shivadhyasana Tirevamari Rayarikati Muyanti Suryaha Teo Varindi Tamyata Inivyoyatra Krisagam Lisha Amnasrinasada Virastukam Sacham Param Dimahi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Before reciting from the Shrimad-Bhagavatam, I'd like to offer my obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, unto Srila Sukadeva Goswami, the speaker, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of music and learning, and unto Srila Prabhupada, whose mercy we've all gathered here together to hear these wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Lord and his devotees and his enemies. Prabhupada ki.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudinayet Nastapre Svabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishna Swadam Bhagavate Namagyan Visaha Karunashta Vishamasha Purana Kudunodita Kankaroti Vacharam Pagunam Nayati Vinyati Patanam Bhagavate Shri Gurum Niyatarinam Pramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. So today we are reading from Shrimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 14, the story of Parividha, Text 32. Nayam Arhati Asad Vikto Naradeva Varasanam Yo Diyagya Patim Vishnum Vinindati Anapatrabha Nayam Haratya Sabrito Naradeva Varasanam Yodi Yagyapatim Vishnum Vinindati Anapatrabha Nayam Haratya Sabrito Naradeva Varasanam Yodi Yagyapatim Vishnum Vinindati Anapatrabha Nayam Haratya Sabrito Naradeva Varasanam Yodi Yagyapatim Yagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Vinindatyanapatrapam
Vindatyanapatrapam Nayamatya Sakrito
Naradeva Varasanam
Naradeva Varasanam
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum Vindatyanapatrapam
Nayamatya Sakrito
Nayamatya Sakrito
Naradeva Varasanam
Naradeva Varasanam
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Vindatyanapatrapam
Vindatyanapatrapam
Nayam Arhatya Sakrito
Nayamatya Sakrito
Naradeva Varas
Naradeva Varasanam
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Vinindatyanapatrapam
Vindatyanapatrapam
Nayam Arhatya Sakrito
Nayamatya Sakrito
Naradeva Varasanam
Naradeva Varasanam
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Vinindatyanapatrapam
Vindatyanapatrapam
Mataji.
Nayamatya Sakrito
Nayamatya Sakrito
Naradeva Varasanam
Naradeva Varasanam
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Vinindatyanapatrapam
Vindatyanapatrapam
Nayamatya Sakrito
Nayamatya Sakrito
Naradeva Varasanam
Naradeva Varasanam
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Yogiyagyapatim Vishnum
Vindatyanapatrapam
Vindatyanapatrapam
Now, never.
Never.
I am
This man
Arhati deserves asadvrita, full of impious activities. Naradeva, of the worldly king
of the worldly
or worldly god. Varasanam, the exalted throne. Ya, he, who, Adhyabhyapatim, the master of all sacrifices. Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. Vinindati, insults. Anapatrapa, shameless. Translation. The saintly sages continue. This impious, impudent man does not deserve to sit on the throne at all. He is so shameless that he even dared insult the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One should not at any time tolerate blasphemy and insults against Lord Vishnu or his devotees. A devotee is generally very humble and meek, and he is reluctant to pick a quarrel with anyone, nor does he envy anyone. However, a pure devotee immediately becomes fiery. Is that correct? Fiery with anger when he sees that Lord Vishnu or his devotee is insulted. This is the duty of the devotee. Although a devotee maintains an attitude of meekness and gentleness, it is a great fault on his part if he remains silent when the Lord or his devotee is blasphemed. The saintly sages continued, this impious, impudent man does not deserve to sit on the throne at all. He is so shameless that he even dared insult the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu.
Homa Yajna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadara Sivasana Gaura Bhaktivedanta, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the sages, they had enough of the king. It was just too much. He was not insulting only them, which they could and should tolerate, being a Brahmin. If you're insulted, you have to keep your mouth shut, especially if you're inferior to this position, although they were superior than him because they were Brahmins and he was a king. And he was insulting them left and front, saying like, you're like an unfaithful wife, I'm supplying all the money for you, for your dresses, for this, for that, and you make fun with a paramour, and other insults like this, and they keep quiet, but they were inside, they were like, but when they started insulting Lord Vishnu, that was it. So so generally a devotee, when sometimes it happens that your president or your Sankirtan leader or anyone who is older or superior to you, they are heavy with you, angry with you, and accuse you of something which you haven't even done, or that maybe they got out of their bed with the wrong food, and they just, they're just in not a nice state of mind, and they put it out on you. There's a story that reminds me of that, of the garbage man. One time, someone got in a taxi in front of the airport, and then when the taxi wanted to drive off, another car went just right in front of him. And then he even hurled abuse to the taxi driver. But the taxi driver said, "Have a nice day," instead of getting angry. So the passenger asked the taxi driver, how can you keep so cool? And instead of cursing him and putting a finger up, why, even you said, "Have a nice day." He said, "You should know, everyone has some problems. Someone, maybe he was just fired from his job, or his wife left him, and he was, and so the first one who meets him, so don't take it personally." So it's very difficult. I myself have very great difficulty, especially if someone accuses me of something which I haven't done. But it's, we're here, just like you go on Sankirtan, mainly to learn to be humble and you have to accept all the abuse which non-devotees throw at you. So here in this case, the last line goes, Srimad-Bhagavatam says, although a devotee means an attitude of meekness and gentleness, it is a great fault on his part if he remains silent when the Lord or his devotee is blasphemed. So there's different kinds of reactions what you should do. If you witness like a quarrel between two inferiors, then you could maybe pacify them down. If there's a quarrel between two superiors, then you shouldn't intermingle. Don't take the side of one, because the other one will be angry with you. So don't interfere. If you hear any insult, it is either, if you can speak up, if you are a superior, because if not, you how you say that? You get a reaction for not speaking up if the Lord is insulting. But if you don't know what to say, then you just leave the place, right? What's the third one? I thought there was a third one too, but I forgot. You kill the person. It's Italian. Padrona. Something like that. So I have nothing more to say. I have also say. So please do the same. Later on I will speak about the disappearance day of
Yes, so here we are talking about killing. And as we know, as it was said by His Grace Sankirtan Prabhu, our stories in Bhagavatam or Mahabharata especially, but also Shrimad-Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, this is the king of killing, And so we will explore, what is this killing, why is this killing there. Sankirtan Prabhu was mentioning that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, while he was with his disciples, and among them there was Srila Prabhupada, Abai Baba at the time. In that ashram, one king cobra came in and he was frightening all the devotees. And so there was a turmoil. So Bhaktisiddhanta was alarmed and he leaned out of the balcony and saw what was happening, and he said, okay, kill it immediately. Srila Prabhupada didn't understand that. But he thought, now I will not understand, but later on I will find out. Because of course, everything is mentioned in the Vedic literature. And actually, when I read this, I didn't read this yet, actually, but I knew that, these creatures that have poison, they are considered very envious. The snake are biting you, also if you're not attacking, maybe you just pass by and they bite you, or the scorpions or whatever it is. And one time I hosted few devotees in my house, and I used to live in the countryside, and in my house there were many scorpions, many. Not very big, about this big. And especially they came out during the winter time, because when you heat up the room, I had the chimney, then they come down and they show themselves. So one of these, while we were there, one of these scorpions came out, and one of the devotees told me, he was a pandit, he was really into reading, researching and so on. He said, kill it immediately. Immediately. So I was a newcomer, I followed the order, so I killed it. And then he explained to me, these creatures, these poisonous creatures, they are very envious. And when they, by karma, they go in these species, they remain in these species long time. It's like a loop, over and over again. They take birth as snake and scorpions and mosquitoes and this and that, over and over again. Until one devotee will kill them. Then they start again to evolve from the consciousness point of view to one species to another, and then finally reach the human form of life. So it's an act of mercy, actually, to kill this. Of course, I was saying Hare Krishna, and actually technically it is supposed to be killed by the left foot. If it is a scorpion. If it is a snake, better something, longer, like a stick or something like that. Anyway, so the killing is always by mercy. I have some instances that I want to share with you. First of all, King Vena was, we will see afterwards in the next verses, that the sages killed Vena in a very unusual way. They were just killing him by high-sounding words. This is a technology that we don't have, fortunately, because in Kali Yuga this would have been for sure misused. But they were just, cursing him, and with these high-sounding words, his heart was, there were vibration, vibration, very, very strong vibration, and his heart cracked, in half. So that's why, these sages were so powerful. And this was an act of mercy, because, otherwise he would have spoiled the citizen, he would have made so many offenses against Krishna, Vishnu, because he thought he was himself the Lord. So he was extremely offensive. So in order to stop all these offenses that he was going to make in the future, they said, okay, better kill him immediately, and so he will not have to suffer the consequences of his impious activities in the future. And then we have these Vedic sacrifices. These are also very interesting. Sometimes we are, criticized, because we are, in Shrimad-Bhagavatam we see, the horse Aswamedha sacrifice and the Gomedha sacrifice, we are even killing a cow that, from our point of view is supposed to be sacred. And the people, they don't understand, because now this technology is not there anymore. The technology is that the priests, they were able also with these high-sounding words to kill, but also to give life again. And actually, I went a little deep into this because I was intrigued by this happening. And actually, in the fire sacrifices, when some old animal was sacrificed, then it is explained that before the animal was offered to the flames, to the fire, the brahmanas would chant some mantra that, like anesthetized, is that correct, the word? They give anesthesia to this. No, anesthesia. When you go to that, yeah. These words were able to put this animal almost to sleep, and the most important thing, that he was not able to feel any pain. So he was completely not suffering at all. And then this animal was offered into the flames. That is the manifestation of Lord Vishnu. The tongue of Lord Vishnu is explained. The flames are like tongues, that are going like this. These are the tongues of Lord Vishnu. And from the other side, and they were chanting mantras, and from the other side of the fire, an animal with a young body, healthy and young body, would come out. So actually, it was an act of mercy, These very old animals were sacrificed, this, quote unquote, to give them a new life, a new and better life. So it was also an act of mercy. And We also know that in Vedic times, the kings were killing the people. So we could say, wow, this is barbarian, how can you kill someone else? But the point is that the killing in Vedic times was not like the killing of now. Because the people knew what Dharma was, they were living in Dharma, and when someone, for instance, was killing someone else, some human being, then by law of karma they would have to suffer so much. But if they would be killed immediately, then their karma reaction would stop in the same life. Otherwise they would suffer. They would be killed in the next life, and maybe also the next one, and the next one. We don't know. Laws of karma are very complicated, intricate, so we can understand how they work more or less, but cannot understand fully the laws of karma. Srila Prabhupada used to say, don't try to understand how karma works. It's beyond your capacities. So just know that it's there. So act accordingly. And anyway, all the devotees are, they don't have karma anymore. When they receive initiation, their karma is taken by the spiritual master who passes to his spiritual master, who passes to his spiritual master, and so on, until it reaches Krishna. And when Krishna has this karma, then he gives something bad and not bad to the devotee, but not according to his previous activities. His previous activities are gone. Karma is not there, but Krishna is, let's say, using these reactions, and will give something especially bad to the devotee to purify the devotee. One time Srila Prabhupada, one disciple of Srila Prabhupada cut his finger cutting his vegetables and Srila Prabhupada, when he knew that, said, if you would not be a devotee, you would be killed. You would have died. So Krishna actually is giving something, but not exactly what it was deserved by the devotee, if he would not have become a devotee. So also this is a very nice and extremely generous act of mercy from the Lord. We know in the Shrimad-Bhagavatam that at one point there was this Rajasuya Yajna. In Rajasuya Yajna, Lord Yudhishthira wanted to make this yajna for the benefit of the world in general, for the future generations and so on. All these yajnas, all these sacrifices were not meant just to gain some benefit in prime person. They were meant to give the mercy to everyone. Everyone would have been benefited by these sacrifices. So Lord Krishna was elected as the first person to be worshipped. And Shishupal was always envious of Krishna, always, from the birth. He was blaspheming Krishna, and all the time. Whenever he had an opportunity, and Krishna was counting, actually Krishna said, okay, I will accept 100 blasphemies, 100 insults. Okay, thank you. And that's it. So Shishupal stood up, and it was too much for him. He's, hated Krishna, was worshipped for first, and he couldn't tolerate that. So Krishna was counting at 98, 99. When it reached 100, then everybody was taking out the swords to kill Shishupal. Arjuna and everybody was ready to kill him. But why Krishna killed him with the Sudarshan Chakra? Everyone knows?
He got the liberation. was liberated by
Yes, he got liberated, that's correct. Yes, this is the reason. Because if he would be killed by someone else with a sword, then the blood would come out from his body somewhere or other. So the blood is considered to contaminate the arena. So the sacrifice would be nullified. So all the effort to make the sacrifice would be none. So he used the Sudarsana chakra. So the Sudarsana chakra cut his head and immediately cauterized, stopped the blood shedding. So there was no blood there, so the sacrifice could continue very nicely. So that was an act of mercy. To Shishupal, because he was liberated, of course he was killed by the Lord, so what a great fortune to be killed by the Lord. And so he got liberation, and actually everybody saw that, the sparkle that came out from Shishupal's body merged in the body of Krishna. So Krishna is so kind. Krishna is kind, very kind. He knows everything of us. While he's sitting in our heart, he will teach us how to love. I'm not as good as
You are.
my good
You have a
friend.
lovely voice.
But this is a line that I wrote, in a song, the only song I wrote. And because I thought it was nice, to remind that Krishna is in our heart and is helping us to know to understand what real love is. And another instance, Krishna. When Krishna went to Mathura to wrestle, then on the street with Balaram, he met a dyer. You know what a dyer is? They are dyeing clothes. They are put color in the clothes. And the dyer, and they ask, Krishna Balaram asked you, give me some clothes, I want this, I want that, I want that. And the dyer, was very puffed up and said, oh, you are our boys, you don't know the etiquette, These clothes are meant for the king. And, if you continue to behave like this, you will be killed by the king. And so Krishna was really annoyed, by this preaching. And so he just, with his hand, he just chopped off the head of that dyer. Yeah, so he used the hand like axe. And also that was out of mercy, of course, because, the dyer was very stupid and great offender. And he was, of course, got benefited by being killed by Krishna. And then in another instance, when the Kurukshetra battle was beginning, then Lord Balaram didn't want to take part either from one side or the other because he was he was the teacher of Dronacharya in club fighting, and he was the brother of Krishna, so he didn't want to take any side, so he went in pilgrimage. And during his pilgrimage, he went to an assembly of sages, and and the assembly of sages, when they saw Lord Balaram coming in, everyone stood up and or bowed down to pay obeisances. Actually, the lower they were bowing down, and the higher they were. But there was Ramahashana Sutta that was elected as the principal. He was on the Vyasasana, and he didn't care. He just didn't stood up, didn't pay any obeisances, didn't show any respect to Lord Balaram. And Lord Balaram got really annoyed with that. So he thought that this was not proper, because Ramahashana Sutta was not very much exalted, although he was elected by the Brahmanas present to be on the Vyasasana. So he thought that he was an offender. So in this way he preferred to end his life, and he took a blade of kusha grass and killed him. with a display of kusha grass. And of course there was a big turmoil after that, because the Brahmanas were protesting in a very polite way. They said, Lord Balaram, you are killing, the principal, the person that we elected as the suitable speaker in this assembly. And this is not good. This is will spoil the atmosphere. And on top of that, we are giving so many blessings to this person to live a long life, to have and not only a long life, but a life full of happiness, full of riches, and so on. So Lord Balaram understood and said, okay, I understand your point, and it's true that I have to make, if a Brahmana, if a devotee says something, then the Lord is maintaining whatever he has given to the person. So, and his son was Ugrashava, yes. So he transferred the benedictions that the Brahmana gave to Ramahashana Sutta to Ugrashava, that was his son, because it is explained that the son is coming from the body of the father, so he's like his expansion, something like that. So he was practically maintaining, all the benedictions that the Brahmanas they gave to Ramahashana Sutta, and this also was a very nice act of mercy.
Can I say something?
Of course. That's okay. I think I can manage. Just be careful.
Okay, just take the mic.
I think it's easier if you just take the mic.
So, when you hear someone speak, always things come to your mind. So there are a few stories in the Bhagavatam of kings and Brahmins. Well, very famous. Who knows the story of a Brahmin who curses a king? It starts, very important, yes? Maharaj Parikshit, a little Brahmin boy, he cursed the king because he was insulted that the king had insulted his father. And so Brahmins should be respected by kings. There's a story from the Ramayana. One time, so the king, if someone had a complaint, we could go to the king and utter your complaint. So one time they said that Lord Ramachandra sent Lakshman to the gate where you're supposed to go to wait. I have a complaint, and you go to a certain place. And he said to Lakshman, please have a look if there's any of the citizens who, there. And he went there, he didn't see anyone. So he came back and said, no, there's no one. Are you sure? Go again. He went there and he didn't see anything. He came back and said, no, there's just a dog. Lord Ramachandra said, bring him in. So the dog came in front of the king. And he started so the Lord Ramachandra said, do you have a complaint? And somewhere other, either Lord Ramachandra could speak the language of the dog, or the dog could speak. He said, yes, I have a complaint. I was just lying basking in the middle of the road, and then this Brahmin, the head of one of the mandirs there, he came and he kicked me. I didn't do anything, he just kicked me. And he said, oh, Ramachandra said. Then he said to the servant, bring this Brahmin here. So the Brahmin came in front of the Lord. And Lord Ramachandra said, so this dog, this entity is complaining that you kicked him without reason, wiseness. Oh, I was, he was just not things went wrong or whatever, and he was in an angry state of mind, and the dog was in his way, like I told you the story of the garbage man, So the first person, or the first entity, the dog was in his way, and he kicked him. So then Lord Homa Yajna didn't know what to do, because he wasn't, as a king, he cannot punish a Brahmin, cannot put him in prison or kill him or whatever. So then he told the dog, so, what would you suggest me to do then? He said, making the head of this temple. So Lord Homa Yajna said, but that is not really a punishment, isn't it? He said, well, you should know that I was the head of a temple at one time in my previous life, and I can't remember I've done anything wrong, and I ended up with this prolific dog. In other words, if this person kicked me, he will be even lower, maybe a Scorpio or something like that. So anyway, that I wanted to share. So a king can never punish a Brahmin. Hare Krishna. Take it up. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, and then we have another instance of extreme anger, and this was not very usual by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, when he was acquiring the land in Juhu by Mr. N, this mysterious Mr. N, and this Mr. N was an expert cheater. So Srila Prabhupada was furious with him, really furious, very, very angry. And at one point, after many instances, and this and that, and money taken, money. Anyway, the story is very long. This Mr. N died of heart attack, and Srila Prabhupada said, yes, he is a demon and he died, he deserved to die. I was praying Lord Vishnu to kill him. So that was an act of mercy by the Lord. And then I have a couple of Sankirtan stories about this, just to finish, and then I will pass the microphone to Parividha. His Grace Parividha Prabhu.
I just want to say, before you start with the Sankirtan stories, about Prabhupada being angry. In Amsterdam in 1972, Lord Jagannath got installed. The temple was in the red light district, and it was a garage or an egg factory or whatever. And so Lord Jagannath was installed, and they had a kind of bowl for him to put in. And then for a fire sacrifice, you have to put 5 counts of this, 5 counts of fruits. But instead of 5 counts of fruit, the devotees have made a fruit salad. and the things for Lord Jagannath were installed in, they were really not up to standard. So then he gave sannyas to one of his disciples, and another sannyasi starting, while the fire first started, he started to put ghee, he took up the ladle and put the ghee in the fire, but with his left hand. So Prabhupada just looked at him, and and there was television there. Dutch television was recording everything, and he blasted the devotees. He said, "How can you invite the Lord of your universe, like this, like that?" So then, at the end, he was driven to his hotel, and generally, Prabhupada doesn't eat remnants of the prasadam, Mahaprasadam, whatever. But just in case, to offer them, they had a plate of Maha, they put it on the back seat of the car. But Amsterdam is bumpy, and at one time the prasadam fell on the floor, and it's always like little hairs going in there and that, etc. So then the devotees, they feel very bad that Prabhupada was angry. So he went to his hotel, and there, Prabhupada is sorry, but Prabhupada, there was not a trace of anger anymore. He was just lying on his bed, and he was like with his head like this, and he was like going like Haribol, Haribol. And then he was asking for the prasadam. And the servant said, it fell on the floor. Prabhupada, clean it. And he took it and he ate it all. Just to show that prasadam is pure, never contaminated. Shrimad-Bhagavatam.
And in another instance, Srila Prabhupada was relishing the charanamrita, and instead of sugar, they put salt inside. He was so angry that night. Actually, he told that whoever did this is a demon. Whoever did this is a demon. I'm very angry. So be careful, whoever is doing this. So one time, in 1990, I was taken with the devotees to make a tour in Europe and see all the different varieties of ISKCON temples. So we went to Copenhagen in Denmark, and it was summertime, very nice day, and the devotee decided to go to Harinam, and their Harinam was, they went to the old town, and there was a square, very little but very nice. And the square was, there were many restaurants and bars with outside facilities for sitting down. They had a table. So the devotee put a rug on the floor and the harmonium, and they started to sing. And in front there were all Srila Prabhupada books put in a very nice way. And so they were starting to sing, very sweet bhajan, and all the people around, they were very pleased. It was a very nice atmosphere. It was a sunny day, it was warm, so everybody was in a good mood, and everybody was silent, listening to the bhajan. All of a sudden, a couple of one young boy and one young girl, very, very tall, they were going by with a bicycle. And the young boy, he was very, very tall, like 2 meters. He was very, not big, but very, very tall. And he stopped in front of the books, and all the devotees were seeing, wow, this devotee is just going by bicycle. He is attracted by Srila Prabhupada books. That's what they thought at the beginning. But then this guy looked in a very bad way, all the devotees, and spit on the books. So Brahmachari immediately got up and took the book that was spitting on and tried to clean it with his dhoti. And this guy threw away the bicycle and kicked the Brahmachari, and the Brahmachari just flew 2 meters high in the air and then went down in a very bad way, and he cut his knee and some blood was coming out. So all the devotees were standing up, and I was puzzling what to do, what is happening. And this guy was making all these kung fu moving with the feet. It was quite impressive because he was very tall and his legs were very long. So he was doing like this and said, "You want to fight? I'm here to fight with you." And then, before that, I noticed that all the devotees were in devotional attire, with dhoti, tilak, kurta, and the Mataji in sari, etc. But one devotee that maybe some of you know, his name is Janu Prabhu, Janu Prabhu. That now he lives in Mayapur. He was originally from Denmark. That he was in karmi clothes, in normal clothes, and I didn't understand why he was in karmi clothes. But then I understood why. Because he was the security. Because sometimes these demons are coming and make some problems. So while this boy was doing his show, and at one point he mocked to crash the harmonium with the foot, and then he stopped just before he hit the harmonium, and he started because he saw that everybody was seemingly afraid. Yeah. At that point, Janu Prabhu came from a quarter from his side, not exactly from the back, a quarter from his side, and with nunchaka, he hit him in the back.
With what?
The nunchaka, this two sticks
yeah.
with a chain in the middle, you know. And I could hear the sound, crack, you know, very loud. And this boy started to do like this, you know, and he didn't know what happened, you know. And so this devotee was, can you hold the mic? He was doing like this. You want to fight? Fight with me. And he was a little, I mean, the appearance of John Prabhu, he's not very tall, but he has like white eyes, you know. His eyes are very, very clear. And he was looking in, writing, and he has a kind of Garuda nose, you know, very prominent. And he was really determined, and the heat was very, very bad for the boy. So the boy, what he did, he looked right and left and see, oh, this guy is going to beat me. And then he ran away. But it's not finished, because the people around were very disturbed by him, really disturbed. So while he was running between the tables, one of the people that was sitting down and enjoying the scene stood up and hit him like this in the neck. And he went on the table, and he really hurt himself. Hare Krishna. He really hurt himself. So this is also a very nice act of mercy, you know? Because, you know, next time he will think twice before speaking of Srila Prabhupada books. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And can I have just one very small story about Anakadundubhi. And one time I was in Marathon, and on Saturday I usually choose a place with big buildings with many flats, each one of them. And so in this town I found a place that was far out. It was not only for one Saturday, but at least for 2 or maybe 3. It was a huge place, and so I started, and the first Saturday was really good, you know, with a very good result. So the week passed by, and then the second Saturday came, so I went there, and the atmosphere was not as good as before, because the people, when I rang at the door, they would say, some of them, of course, you are Padre Antonio, yeah, the missionary, you are not a missionary, and you are a cheater, and this and that. They were saying like this, some of them, and they would slam the door. But nevertheless, you know, I thought, you know, what is happening, you know? And so I figured out maybe the priest was blaspheming, you know, the Sankirtan movement, what I was doing. And the mind was telling me, okay, just go to another place, you know, this is not worth it. You know, the place is spoiled. But I thought, you know, Krishna is the doer, you know, maybe this is an arrangement to smooth a little bit my Sankirtan, so all the people will not make me lose time. So I continued, and actually, I did much more than the first Saturday. You know, the books went out like anything. Of course, there were, you know, in between one another, there were some people who were a little disturbed. But nevertheless, you know, I was satisfied to have continued, and I didn't gave space to my mind to carry me in another place. When I went out with the empty trolley, very happy, you know, the trolley was empty, then I found a person that was throwing the garbage. And he said, Padre Antonio. And I said, yes, I'm not a Christian priest, but I think it's quite obvious, you know. I have Shrimad-Bhagavatam in my hand, Bhagavad Gita, I dress like this, I'm shaved, I have a ponytail, funny ponytail, so, you know, it's quite obvious. And I'm presenting myself, you know, as I am, you know, I'm a Hare Krishna missionary. I also had a label, you know, with my picture on, and, you know, everything was written there, so. And he said, no, that's true, but the priest here, he's really blaspheming you. He said so many bad things about you. And I remember he came last Saturday in my house, and you were very polite, and you were not saying anything wrong, and he was so pleasant to meet you, and I took the books, and I'm very happy to have done it. You should sue in court this unused priest. Yeah, sue in court. You know, you just have to take a lawyer and sue in court this person. So I told him, you know, maybe this person doesn't know us, you know, maybe he's a little, no, you have to do something about him, you know, because he's a really bad person. He said something very bad about you. And I told him, you know, I'm a missionary, you know, I'm nobody, so I will not take any offense. No, you have to do something. I will pay for you the lawyer. You have to do it, you know, I will pay for you the lawyer. And then I pacified him and said, you know, sometimes, you know, people are angry. So he was taking the part of the devotee, so Krishna will be so much pleased about him because he was, you know, defending the Sankirtan movement and defending the devotee. So all glory to this man it was so on our part, you know. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sankirtan ki jai. So now everything is yours.
It reminds me of another story of a king, and in this case from the medieval times, King Henry VIII in England was married and he wanted another wife. But because they were Catholics, the English at that time, and so he couldn't divorce. So then he just cut his lineage with the Pope, with Rome. And this way, everyone became Protestant at that time. So, but the king is supposed to be, you know, the representative of the Lord. That's why the citizens should see him. That's why they give him respect. That's why he lives in a palace, he has wealth, etc., etc. But, you know, if they think that they're above the law, you know, that is their downfall. So that's it. I can tell something about the disappearance day, but maybe that's first, is there any question or comment?
A question, how did the priests, the brahmanas, how did they kill?
Hare Krishna. You were speaking about, you researched a little bit about killing the cow in the name of sacrificing the cow to regain your body. How did they actually kill them? Because you said they had tranquilized them, a little bit anesthesia.
By mantra.
By mantra kill, not physical, not...
No.
Okay.
When they were under anesthetic, they were put into the flames, and the Brahmana were uttering mantras, very powerful, and on the other side of the fire, actually they were burned alive, technically. But, you know, while they were burning, then the Brahmanas were uttering mantras and mudras, and on the other side of the fire, it came out a brand new body with the same soul. So the soul was put in another body. So this was to prove, actually I forgot to mention this, this was to prove the importance and the authenticity of the mantras. That the mantras were, you know, said in the right way, with the right meter, and so on, right pronunciation. And so these Brahmana were qualified. Now all these sacrifices are forbidden because there are no Brahmanas able to pronounce in correct way all these mantras.
So also you have to be pure. You know, it's just like if you chant the Mahamantra or Kirtan. If you do it for look, you know, I'm such a good singer, you don't really focus on what you're singing. So how pure the chanting is, the more effect it has on the listeners. You know, they feel the difference. That it's not just singing, but it's mantra. Mantra is very powerful. And how clear, pure you are, how more effect it has on the listener. That's why, yeah. So, can you just hold the mic for a second?
Are any question?
Any other questions?
One second. Where are my glasses?
Just a little one.
Yeah.
Regarding the scorpion, at the beginning you had to kill. Like usually you should not do this, or like in general it's okay to kill scorpions and snakes, or.
As long as you have the right attitude in doing that.
Okay.
If you are a devotee, you are giving benefit to the person inside this ugly body. Okay, technically you have to use your the left foot, and then you have to say the mantra Hare Krishna while you're killing. That was what I was told. Actually, I don't remember. I mean, not that I don't remember. He didn't tell me from which source he got it, but it was pretty famous as a jnani, you know, a researcher, all these things. So I took it for granted that he was telling me the truth.
So today is the disappearance day. Jagadis Pandit, and I read a little story. One time, Lord Chaitanya, as a toddler or a little older, it was an Ekadashi, and he was crying and crying and crying, and Sachimata and his father, they didn't know how to stop him, and then he said, you know, I want some rice from Jagadis Pandit's house. And he thought, how do they know that he has rice, you know, in his offered? So then they went to his house, and they were a little astonished, you know. So they immediately concluded that the Nimai must have some supernatural mystic power, for else how could he understand that in another house they are preparing some rice? So therefore they immediately they went there, and then, you know, and then he brought the rice to Lord Chaitanya through his father Jagat Mishra, and Nimai was feeling sick, but immediately after eating the Vishnu prasadam, he was cured. And he also distributed the prasadam among his playmates. So another story is, before taking sannyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised Srila Jagadish Pandit to visit Jagannath Puri. On arriving at Sri Puri, Sri Jagadish Pandit went to Lord Jagannath's darshan and melted with love when he saw Lord Jagannath. On his way back to Bengal, however, he felt extreme separation from Lord Jagannath. If one truly feels such pangs of separation, that this is a sign of Lord Jagannath's mercy. If not, then one not truly has received the grace of the Lord. So Lord Jagannath saw Srila Jagadish crying, and hence mercifully appeared to him in a dream and told him to take his vigraha and serve the same. Simultaneously, he appeared to the king of Orisha and ordered him that at the time of the Nava Kaleshvar, when the wooden deity of Lord Jagannath is renewed, the outgoing form normally is placed in the ocean, but this time should be given to Srila Jagadish Pandit. As a result of this dream, the Maharaj considered it to be a great honor to give Srila Jagadish Lord Jagannath's outgoing form, which is known as the Samadhista Vigraha. Srila Jagadish prayed to Lord Jagannath, asking him just how could he possibly carry this heavy deity, all when Lord Jagannath is taken out of the temple, so many men carry him, strong men. So he says, left Lord Jagannath with one of the Brahmins and went to take his bath in the Ganges and to perform oblations of Ganga water. While he was gone, the Brahmins found that Lord Jagannath was suddenly becoming very heavy, that he was no longer able to hold him up. When Srila Jagadish Pandit came back from his bath, he saw Lord Jagannath sitting on the ground and realized that the Lord wanted to stay in that very spot. When the local people heard that Lord Jagannath from Puri had come to stay to Yashore, they flocked there in thousands to see this darshan. Srila Jagadish Pandit then decided to remain Yeshua rather than return to his home in Mayapur. This is the deity of Lord Jagannath. That Lord Jagannath. Hari Krishna. You want to say something about Sridhar Goswami or anything, just a little bit? It's almost time, it's actually.
I think it's time now.
Yes, okay, it's time. If you want to know about Sridhar Goswami, his appearance, keep. If you want to know more about him, pick up the Chaitanya read. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon. It was a lovely day. How about you? Did you have a nice time?
Yes, of course. I'm thanking again, my hosts, all the devotees here in Simachalam. It is yesterday I was talking with my wife back in Mayapur, and I told her that whenever I come here, although there are different faces, some of them are not the same as the time before. Although the atmosphere is very nice, very familiar, and there is, at least from an external point of view, a mood of cooperation that is very much nice to see. Because, Srila Prabhupada used to say, your love for me will be shown by the way you will cooperate, how much you will cooperate with one another. So, thank you so much for your nice example. Keep it like this. I know there are shortcomings here and there in the family, but this is normal. But keep in mind that if you are continuing like this, you will have the mercy of Lord Nishingadev. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sankirtanya ki jai.
Yes. So while I was here, I haven't seen any fighting or anger. Devotees, so it's very nice. I would advise all the rest of the devotees, whenever a guest is coming, even if it's an Indian, because generally Indian devotees, if they're Western, they think, we should preach to them. But you can also preach to any guest who comes, and if your eyes cross, then give them a nod and say Hare Krishna, welcome. And this way, any guest, Western or Indian or wherever they come from, they will come back more and more because it's such a nice place and the people are so friendly. Hare Krishna. Bhagavatam Gita, Shrimad-Bhagavatam Gita.